Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you in association with Recovery, the natural choice for rugby recovery. You're sore, you're low on gas, and life has a habit of getting in the way when it comes to doing all those little extras you need to do to recover properly. Going into game day knowing your body's in the best condition possible is the goal. Your next performance depends on it. Well, Recovery has you covered. Recovery is reinventing rugby recovery. Check out their range of all natural products with prices that range from as little as £7 to be budget friendly for all shoppers. You can find them on Instagram at Recovery or head to recovery.com or simply click the link in the description to take you straight to their website for an extra bonus. If you use the code DROPGOAL in all capitals, you'll receive a brilliant 10% off discount on all of your purchases. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Drop Goal podcast. On today's episode we have a rugby league great. He played for the Leigh Centurians and Warrington Wolves. He's represented both England and Great Britain at international level, as well as representing his country in the World Cup. It's the man himself, Chris Hill. Welcome to the podcast, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Yeah, not too bad myself, mate. Glad to hear you well, and I'm very glad to see we could get you on the show today. So let's not waste any more time, and let's begin. So first off, mate, just a quick and easy question to start things off. What have you been up to today?
Oh, what have I not been up to? That's probably easier. I was training this morning. Nice early morning, and then big field session. Just finish off. We've got a couple of days off now.
Right.
So we had a decent field session, and then into a bit of a weight session. Finished for dinner, and then back onto me both businesses, two businesses. So I was chasing a few people and a few calls and just the usual stuff and a few emails, and I had a meeting at 2 and then on to here.
Right, well, it sounds like a busy day, mate. So we'll dive into the proper questions a bit more now. You've had an outstanding career, having played in Challenge Cup finals at Wembley, making your way to Old Trafford a fair few times, playing the grand final, as well as even representing your country in the World Cup. Is there a standout moment in your career, or would you say they're all just one big achievement together in your career in rugby league?
I'd say probably the biggest obviously highlight of my career is probably playing for my country.
Right.
I'd always say playing for my country is probably the highest accolade, and then obviously playing for Great Britain. Obviously we didn't get a win while I was on tour, but to pull that shirt on is something special. There's plenty of achievement, plenty of good times with it within my career. 2 Challenge Cups, numerous grand final appearances. But you've got to say your probably memorable one is my debut when I played for England against Wales back in 2012. I think when you first pull that shirt on, it's something special, and to do it for 9 consecutive years was unbelievable. And now I'm looking forward to hopefully pulling it on again at the end of this year.
Yeah, hopefully, mate. That's the plan. So with pre-season training now fully kicked in, and match day 1 just around the corner, what are you and the Warrington lads doing to prepare yourselves for the new season?
Well, the next 4 days, put my feet up, hopefully, because we've got a bit of time.
Yeah.
It's been tough. I was saying to the boys the other day, it is my only pre-season I've ever had at Warrington. Oh no, right. 2012, because I've never. Usually, when you play international, you only have 2-3 weeks in between having a break from international and then getting back to the boys and then training and then getting back playing. So it's been good. My body feels refreshed from not playing international end of last year, which sometimes is good to have a break. I'm ready to go, and the lads are flying. It's probably the best I've seen. Again, because it is only my first pre-season, it's probably the best I've seen our boys come back in the nick they're in, and the speed and the intensity we've been training. That's been unbelievable. So no, I think now though 7 weeks. I think it was 7 weeks, which might be our 8th.
Okay.
With the season pushed back 2 weeks, I think the boys are ready for a game now.
Yeah, definitely.
Soon drags on pre-season with running on muddy fields and whatnot, which we've had the joy of training on 4G, which has been good down at Birchwood.
Yeah.
We've been able to get some good skill in us. But yeah, the boys are just ready for a game now. It's been a long pre-season, but a good pre-season.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll go back to when you were a young lad, growing up in Leigh, which is practically Wigan, which is notoriously a big rugby league area. At what age would you say rugby league became a big part of your life?
Oh, it's always a big part. I actually grew up in Wigan.
Oh,
Um,
right.
yeah, I'm a Wigan originally. It's just everyone thinks I'm from Leigh because I played for Leigh for so long.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually live in Leigh now.
Okay.
But no, I grew up in Wigan, and as you know, Wigan's renowned for rugby league. So I started playing. What was I? I'd have been under sevens maybe.
Mm,
Because actually, when I played um, when I was a younger, I actually played a year above myself
right.
because the only reason is because my mum took me to the wrong training session.
Oh, right.
Coming away, she realised it was all in a year above me at school, which she
Yeah.
thought was a bit odd. So, but I ended up sticking with that till I did that till 16, under 16s, and then you had to. I think you have to do it now. You have to drop down to your own age,
Mm,
under 16s. So I played at Pats, and then I went up to my local team, which was New Springs, which was a lot of my school friends were going to.
yeah.
So we like created a new club, should we say? And then from on there, I went to Leigh. I was at Wigan as a lad. Got told I wouldn't be good enough, and and left.
All right. So like you said, you joined the local club New Springs. You joined them around 2004. From playing with this amateur club, how did you work your way up through the ranks and gradually become such a great player as you are today?
A lot of hard work.
Mm,
Looking on it now, a lot of hard work, and I never give in. I didn't. That's probably one thing I always say. I never give in, and I always went for it. I always wanted to live my dream and what I'm doing now and what I've done.
yeah.
But no, coming up through the ranks, like I say, I was at Wigan. I got disappointment of probably 13s, 14s. Dean Bell calling me, my dad in the office it was then, and telling me I wouldn't be good enough,
Right.
and they wouldn't let me go, which was a big disappointment because a lot of my mates was at Wigan,
Yeah.
and obviously when you're at school and stuff like that, as you'd know, it's hard if you're not getting picked and someone else is getting picked. There's
Yeah. Yeah.
more so now around it, so it was tough. But I adjusted myself down. I'm not one for giving up, and Leigh took me on. I went up to New Springs, as I said, I found a new team, and then one of the scouts at Leigh just asked me down, and a few of my friends as well from New Springs went. And again, it took me from what I made my debut at 17
Okay.
when I was in the league, and it took me till 23, what was it, 20, yeah, 23, 24 when I signed for Warrington. So
Mm,
I sort of like did my apprenticeship in League and in championships and got to know my game. And I've always said I wouldn't be the type of player I am now if I wouldn't have done that. I don't think I was ready
yeah.
to be a league player before I left League. And a lot of hard work. A lot of people don't. What a lot of people don't see,
Mm,
and that's what determines me. And I used to be running Christmas Day morning.
yeah.
Used to ill Christmas Day morning and New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Boxing Day when my mates were having a drink and whatnot.
Mm,
Things that people don't see, and I would never. But that's how you get. It's like that in any life, whether it's rugby or business or whatever. You've got to put the time and effort in.
yeah. 100%. So you're an established prop in today's game, but I've got down that you originally started off as at standoff or loose forward. Did you decide you wanted to move to prop, or was it something that your coach at the time suggested?
No, someone asked me this the other day. Can't remember who it was. No, I think I only played six because I think it was only me who could pass.
Right.
Or sort of. I think my body type was never a six.
Mm,
I was just a big six. And then I progressed and I went to loose forward, played at loose forward for quite a bit, played a bit of back row for Leigh, and then just whipped my way in really.
yeah.
once you get to prop, there's no going back.
Yeah, 100%. So you made your senior debut in around 2005 in the Super League X season, and although you suffered a huge 8-74 defeat by St Helens, it must have been such an honour to represent your hometown or that area and pull on the jersey. So what was the experience like making your debut and, all that hard work paying off?
Unbelievable. Like I said, all that hard work, especially in Super League as well. And I got dragged in back end of that year from our under 18s
Mm,
at Leigh, what was then. And they just said, we come and train with first team, never thinking I'd get a game, get a run or anything. So, no,
yeah.
it was unbelievable. And I always remember first kick off, Nick Fozzard ran straight at me. I think he brought me on at
Right.
half time. We were 40 odd. We were 40 odd. I think we were 44 or 44, something down. I can't remember the half time. It was a
Mm,
lot. Put me on at half time, and I remember Nick Fozzard just run straight out me off kick off and got up, and I just had like thing flashing in my eyes. And
yeah.
oh, yeah, welcome to Super League. But no,
Mm.
I loved it. And no, I've never looked back since.
Yeah, what a welcome that was. So you won the Northern Rail Cup with Leigh after keeping a stable spot in that side, which also saw you tour Australia with Great Britain under 18 side in that same year. At this point, you'd already won a trophy. You're representing your country. Surely at this point, did you know you could make a living out of rugby league and make it big time in Super League?
Yeah, I always wanted to, and I always strive to. But there was a lot of good young kids. And when I made my debut for England at 18, uh, there was only me and a lad called Rob Draper, who was championship. So he was witness and I was Leigh.
Right.
We were championship then. So yeah, it was an honour to do that and us to get picked from a championship side. But no, it took a long time coming. And like I said, I love my time at Leigh.
Yeah.
Got it with real fond memories. And like I said, I wouldn't have been the player I am today without doing them years at Leigh.
Yeah, definitely. So your time with Leigh was truly one of a kind, like you said. You won cups with the club, appeared in over 100 games. You even scored a hat trick as well as being made captain. You're on the track to being a solidified Leigh legend, but in 2011 or around that time, you decided to join Warrington. What made you leave Leigh, and was it because you knew you were ready for Super League success?
Yeah, well, the coach at the time was Basil, which is Ian Millward.
Right.
I think we played Warrington in pre-season game in 2011.
Mhm.
Um, so throughout that year, I didn't know much about it. There was a bit of talk. I know Jamie Ellis went and signed from us at Leigh. He went to Hull. There was a bit of
Mm.
talk that someone was coming in for me, but I never really thought of it. But it was actually Ian Millward who sorted it with Tony Smith.
Right.
I presume Smithy'd seen me when we were playing a friendly, but you can't really judge anyone on a friendly. But he
Yeah.
must have tracked me through the year. And no, I actually signed mid 2011
Mhm.
for Warrington, and they loaned me back to League just because I had the Northern Rail final,
Yeah.
and I wanted to finish off the season with Leigh. But no, it was actually in Millwood, and I knew then if I wouldn't have gone Super League, I'd have probably got what I say, a proper job,
Right.
and put like just done rugby league as a hobby sort of thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
as doing championship, have full time jobs and do part time rugby. So it's probably make or break that year for me because I was getting 20 that age 23, 24, where
Yeah. Yeah.
you want to be playing Super League, and if you're not, you're probably never going to be playing Super League. So no, I got a bit of lucky break, and I think you make your own luck in this life.
Yeah, definitely. So shortly after joining Warrington, you were selected to play in the 2012 Challenge Cup final against Leeds, which ended in a brilliant victory for the Wolves. What was it like walking out at Wembley, seeing all those Warrington faithful, and at the end of the day, bringing home the trophy for the Primrose and Blue supporters?
Oh, it was unbelievable. I don't remember the first 20 minutes though, because Kyle Luluai knocked me out off kickoff.
Right.
So yeah, it was a bit shaky first 20 minutes.
Mm,
But yeah, what an experience! Like I say, coming from Leigh and obviously playing in finals, but Northern Rail final, maybe having 5 or 6 thousand at Bloomfield Road to I can't remember what would it have been, 70,000
yeah, something
at,
like that. Yeah.
at, at Wembley and the new Wembley at that. So
Mm,
no, it was unbelievable. Yeah, and then we went on to make a grand final as well, which was obviously we didn't get the result, but what a year, and obviously made me England debut at the end of that. So I think that's probably, if you look at a bit in your career, what's defining. I think that probably year is probably the one 2012.
Yeah, it was a great year. So you're involved in one of the best teams of Warrington's history, debatedly, in that 2012 period. You were named as Player of the Season, Players Player of the Season, as well as winning the Vice President's Award. It must have been such an overwhelming night and a season as a whole to get recognised for your efforts and hard work. Like, what was it like winning the major accolades? You probably say they're the two biggest awards that you won of the night.
Yeah, it's good, but I was probably still disappointed. Well, obviously we didn't know about it, but I'd have swapped them for a grand final ring any day.
Yeah,
It is nice getting probably the most biggest reward at the end of that year was me England call up.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's nice getting accolades like that. But I think, like I said, I'd swap any of them for a grand final ring.
Yeah, 100%. So that same season, like you said, you got to experience the roar of Old Trafford in the grand final. And although Warrington did lose that game, it must have been such an experience. So some try to compare the Challenge Cup and grand final, but others say they're two completely different events on two completely different nights, as well as two completely different atmospheres. How would you compare the two?
Yeah, people ask you this all the time, and I'd say Challenge Cup's probably more of a party atmosphere.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, there's a lot of other teams, fans go every year regardless who's there.
Mm,
People get buzzes from all over England to go, and they go religiously every year. I think grand finals are a little bit more intense because you usually tend to just have the two teams fans there and they split
yeah,
them.
yeah.
So I think it's a little bit more intense. I like both. What would I say? I'd probably go grand final more than anything. I think it's a little bit more intense.
Mm.
But yeah, I'd take either final.
All right, and the following season, Warrington played in the grand final again, I believe, and unfortunately fell short once again. With winning the grand final, a slight curse, so to say, on Warrington, what would you say causes the upset on the night? Is it the nerves or the fact that nothing can help you prepare for the grand final because it's such a unique experience? Like, what would you say is tripping the Wolves on the last hurdle?
If I knew that, I'd be coach.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
It's hard. Sometimes things just don't fall to you. I know when we was leading against Wigan, then we got 3 or 4 injuries, and then you end up with all the bench on at the same
Mm,
time. We can't rotate. Things happen for a reason. Um, Sometimes, like I said, big stage, you need the right decisions and you need to make the right calls at the right time. And sometimes things just don't go that way. And I couldn't put my finger on it else. Like I said, I'd be a coach.
yeah, definitely. So in 2016, you were given the captain's armband, and what a year it was for you and the club. The League Leaders Shield came home for one of the I think it was the second time in club history. You're named in the Dream Team that year, as well as leading the club to another Challenge Cup final and a grand final appearance. What was it like to write history with Warrington, especially as club captain?
Oh, it was unbelievable. Like I say, I've always said captain in Warrington is probably well, is up there with one of the biggest achievements. It's something I'd
Yeah,
never thought I would do. As well as walking my son out at a Challenge Cup final and a grand final. So
yeah.
the memories that last a lifetime. I know we didn't get the results in either of them, so he would never do it. He would never be walking us out again
Mm,
because I said we lost when he did it.
yeah.
Um, but their memories I'll have for a lifetime. So yeah, the result didn't go away, but yeah, what a year that was.
Yeah, it was a brilliant year. So after such a brilliant year, you would have thought the success would have carried on into 2017, but it wasn't meant to be. And the dismal displays of 2017 are some Warrington fans may want to forget. Warrington season was to below average after not making the Super Eights. But what do you think didn't just click in 2017 when the Wolves finished on the bottom half of the table?
I think there's a bit of everything. I think for players, you only need a couple of players to clock off, and
Mm,
I think maybe a few of the players just thought because we got to them the last few years that it just comes natural, and it doesn't.
yeah, yeah.
You've got to work at it, and if you're a couple of percent off every week, you're going to get burnt. It's as simple as that. So I think it just rolled into that. I know it was coming the end of Smithy's time at the club.
Mm,
Uh, and So no, it all rolled into one. Like I said, it was a well below average year, but sometimes you've got to go through them years to come out the other side.
Mm. That's definitely what I would say. So the same season, like you said, was also Tony Smith's last season in charge at the club, and Steve Price was appointed for the following season. Having worked under coaches such as Tony Smith and Steve Price, as well as your coach at Leigh, what different attributes have you learnt from each coach, and how have you applied it to your game?
Well, different coaches do different things, and they have different styles. I know Smith was a massive one for attacking. He
Yeah,
was a big attack, as you could probably imagine with the results prior to 2017. Who was a great attacking side. Obviously, people like Breezy and that.
mm.
Because Breezy didn't want to, well, what didn't want to defend and couldn't defend. So
Yeah,
you had to use him in the right way, and he was an absolute masterclass. So
mm.
different styles. Where Price is the old Aussie way, the tough ruggedness
Yeah,
of defence. So it depends what coach you have, and then you adapt them to
mm.
your own game. Smithy like more the offloads and let's get people on the back foot, and I think Pricey brings a bit more structure to us,
Right,
which is good. And it's all about what players you have as well.
yeah,
Your players have to suit your system as well as your system suit. You know what I mean? You've got to what players we have. You've got to work with.
mm.
I think the way we do it under Pricey with front loading everything in our defence. I think it's probably the best way. And like I said, the defence is your best form is attack really.
Yeah,
And then our attack, and we always find if we do well with our D, our attack will flow because we've got some genius players with Osto and Gaz and Steph at fullback
mm.
and Daz in the middle. So we know our attack can come. We just focus a little bit more on our defence.
Yeah, 100%. We have some great players at Warrington. So Steve Price came in the following season, and things changed for Warrington. They were back to being big dogs in Super League, as you could say. Another grand final appearance in 2018 was started off by Josh Charnley try, I believe, but it wasn't meant to be again. It must have been heartbreaking getting off on such a great start and unfortunately losing the final. Sorry, my mind's gone blank. Losing in the final steps. But how did Warrington learn from their mistakes in order to be prepared for the next grand final appearance?
Yeah, like you said, grand finals are the one-off games. It's
Mm,
the small margins, and it's whoever takes the opportunity is the best on the night. You
yeah,
can't say per one way or the other. You've just got to be on it for 80 minutes, and if you're not in a grand final, you're going to get burnt. And that's what we did. We just weren't on it. We've not been on it consistently for an 80-minute performance.
mm,
It's hard to say, but we've not. Else we'd have had a grand final ring by now.
yeah,
Yeah, there's circumstances in that which we can't determine, but I think you've just got to be on it for 80 minutes, a solid 80 minutes, and you've got to take your chances. If you don't take your chances in a grand final, you don't get many chances.
yeah. Well, hopefully the grand final ring is soon coming to Warrington. The same season in 2018, there was also a Challenge Cup defeat against Castellans. I was at the game and I was shocked on how prepared the Dragons were, considering they hadn't been that high up and playing such a competitive game in like a long time. Do you think they surprised Warrington on the day?
I think they did again. Whether lads thought there was a little bit, and they had to turn up, and we just had to win. You know what I mean? And you can't
Yeah.
take that attitude in the final. They had a free shot at us.
Mm,
If they got beat by 50, everyone would have gone, well, we expect that.
yeah. Yeah.
Like you said, won, and they become heroes of France. You know what I mean? So they had a bit of a free, exactly like Polly us against Saints. No one gives a being a
Yeah.
chance
Yeah.
of beating Saints. We role reversed it really and put all the pressure back on Saints, and the press did, as they
Yeah.
did with us when we played Catalan. So you can see the similarities, and
Yeah.
then once one thing starts going bad, a couple of things accumulate, and it's just especially in finals, you can't grab that back. And yeah, Catalan were really good on that day and played a brilliant game plan, but we were way off. And
Mm,
same you could say with Saints. Everyone with Saints had the right to go and walk it, but again, did a few of their players just think they had to turn up?
yeah.
A few didn't go, and it rolls, and it's a funny game, but no, we managed to turn it around. Yeah, disappointing Catalans, but that probably gave us a little bit more hunger when we did went and played Saints.
Yeah, I think so as well. So in 2019, another glory season for the Wolves. We're back at Wembley, but this time was slightly different. Star player of the season, you could say, Blake Austin was injured, and obviously Kevin Brown, who was meant to be paired with Austin, was out pretty much all year that season, I think. There are a lot of changes in the team, and although Warrington did bring home the trophy against local rivals Saints, which was one of the best days of my life and a lot of other Warrington fans' lives, what I'm interested in is how did Warrington prepare for the day knowing we didn't have the strongest squad available on paper?
We just thought, like I said before, we focused on ourselves. We let all the pressure and Saints to soak up the pressure and the limelight, and we just blanked everything out. Everyone wrote us off anyway. I imagine quite a few Warrington fans in press and whatever, they wrote us off beforehand.
Yeah,
Anyway, which was good for us. We had a free oh, no Osto, no Kev, they're going to get battered, and that's all you were reading. So it was perfect for us. We had a great lead up to it. We had a couple of good results leading up to it, and then I thought Uzi Deck played simple but effective rugby, and
yeah,
that's exactly what won us game. It was just simple, no errors. We let them make the errors, and then they got a bit of anxiety about them being favourites and everyone wanting them win. And then it's a funny game, and we come out on top. I think we learned a lot of lessons from the Catalan one though.
So 2020 was such a strange year. No fans for the majority of the season, and Warrington went on that winning streak just after the restart. Was it strange having no fans cheering you on, and how did you adapt?
Yeah, it was. I think for the first few weeks, novelty had not really kicked in. Everyone was back, and it showed with the way we started and the street we went on. Everyone was back and raring, ready to go because they all trained hard throughout lockdown, which was tough as well. So on our own, but was ready to get back out there playing. And no, it's tough without fans. Fans are a massive part of rugby league and sport in general. It was all right for the first few weeks, but going towards back end of the year, it just didn't seem right that the fans weren't there. And it was tough. And we're going to start this year exactly the same with the looks of it. So unless anything dramatic changes, but I can't see it. But you just got to deal with it, and we will for the first, hopefully, only 5-6 weeks.
Yeah, you just got to deal with it and adapt, mate. So onto your international career quickly. To summarise it, as quickly as possible, although you've achieved a lot with your country, you've played in 2 World Cups, a Test series against New Zealand, as well as playing for Great Britain. What would you say is the standout moment of your international career?
Like I said before, I probably pulling the Great Britain jersey on. I know we didn't win her.
Yeah.
But to pull that jersey on is special. Obviously up there with I've had many great. Probably the 2017 World Cup. Obviously we made the final and just lost, but the whole experience behind it with Wayne Bennett and everything like that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best times of not just my playing career in my life, being out on tour and that. They're the memories that you last forever. So yeah, I've got a lot of memories for international, a lot of good memories as well, and good people I've met and good coaches I've been under. And I think that as a whole, the whole experience of internationals, an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, you've definitely had a lot in your career that's happened. So this season, you've come to a decision to retire the captain's armband. How did you come to this decision, and was it to focus on your own game?
Yeah, a bit of both. I had another little one at the end of last year, so that takes me to 5.
Right.
So obviously it's a busy. I've got 2 businesses out of rugby league, which I like concentrating on because I think it's good to take your mind somewhere else than it being rugby league constantly. I'm a big believer in that. And I've got a wife what never sees me hardly because of my businesses, and then you've got promo, a lot of things behind the scenes, what fans and that don't see. You do a lot of promos, a lot of interviews, unsociable times, and you're in Manchester and whatnot. and I've obviously got my testimonial this year,
Yeah.
which is a big thing. Obviously, with what's happening at the minute, the COVID side of it. So I just thought it was time. I've had my bit of doing it. It's my last contract year.
Yeah.
I want to sort of enjoy it and roll with it and concentrate on myself rather than dealing with the aspects of the outer side as well,
Yeah.
which I call it.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. So it's your testimonial this year, like you said. Luckily, I've managed to get some tickets, although it is online. You fully deserve the testimonial, but there will be no fans at the ground. Did you have the decision to wait until fans were allowed back in the ground, or did you just want to live the moment, whether the fans were in or out of their HJ?
No, you stuck really with, because we only have one pre-season game anyway. I spoke with Pricer last
Hmm.
year, and he was more than happy to play Leigh. I wanted to play Leigh because that's where I come through. It
Yeah.
means a lot to play Leigh. Again, landed lucky that Leigh are actually in Super League, because if they wouldn't have been, we wouldn't have been able to play them,
Mm.
because I think they have a Challenge Cup round that weekend. We're scheduled to play them. So yeah, it's landed a little bit lucky. I'm grateful to Leigh and Derek
Yeah.
for letting me play Leigh and Duss. And I know a lot of people behind the scenes at Leigh. So
Hmm.
no, it'd be good. No, we're stuck with dates because it's a pre-season friendly. We want to end the day. It's my testimony, but it's our prep
Right.
ready for the season. So if it wouldn't have been my testimonial, it'll have been another pre-season game. We've got to get our prep right. That's bigger than my testimonial. Our preparation is bigger.
Mm.
So we always play the week before rolling into the season, as we have now. So we'll play Thursday and we'll roll in. We didn't know what day it was for the Cast game, which is now Sunday. So we've got a bit of a turnaround, which is nice.
Right.
And no, we'll get the prep done as normal. But like you said, did I want fans? Obviously, 100% I did.
Yeah.
And we've left it as late as we could. And we thought with a 2-week pushback of the season, it might have grabbed us, I don't know, maybe 500 or whatever to
Mm.
get people live. But weren't to be. We can watch it on Facebook and our league app. And that's the way of the world at the minute. Yeah, I was disappointed when I first thought I'd have no fans at and there, but there's worse things going on in the world. I'm sure I can play a game of rugby without any
Yeah,
fans.
yeah, fair enough, mate. It's going to be a great game, no matter whether there's fans in the stadium or watching at home. So to finish off the podcast, as always, we'll do some quick fire questions. So let's get started. Question one: how do you like your steak?
Medium well.
All right. Question two: what's your choice of drink on a night out?
Depends what part at night we're in. Early doors lager.
All right. Question three: do you support an NRL club, and if so, which team?
Do I support one? Probably don't support one, but I'd follow South just for Wayne Bennett, really.
Yeah,
And obviously the English boys, but again, Canberra. So I don't support any, but I like watching Canberra and South more than any other anyway.
yeah, fair enough. Question four: who's the toughest player you've come up against?
Probably Big GI who's at our place.
Yeah, fair
He's
enough, mate.
to handle.
Yeah, he's a brilliant player. Question five: who works the hardest in the Wolves training camp?
Who was the hardest? I was a few boys. Mike Cooper.
Yeah,
A lot of the older heads, but a lot of the younger lads have really stepped up this year. Probably the hardest. It's a tough one. That there's a lot of. I think Mike Cooper, Coops, Joe Philbin's a really good one as well. Does all his little bits, extras, and everything.
yeah. Well, it's good. I'm glad to hear that everyone's working hard in the training camp. And finally, question six: would you rather win a Rugby League World Cup and nothing else that year, or the League Leaders Shield, the Challenge Cup, and the Grand Final in the same season?
Tough one that.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a tough one that. With it being my last year,
Mm.
I'm swaying more towards treble with Warrington.
Yeah, yeah,
So you'd want to end. You go World Cup. You got to go World Cup. It's the
yeah.
biggest accolade.
Yeah, they're both amazing. So before we finish up, is there anything you'd like to say to any young listeners who might be trying to make it in the world of rugby league?
Like I said before, when I said earlier, you've got to keep working at it.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me what is the things I can do, and that obviously we like watching people and watching young game or whatever. Working on your game, you get that when you go into youth systems, whether it's at Wigan or wherever. But there's nothing that replaces hard work. Nothing.
Yeah, wise words there, mate. So thanks for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. I can't wait for the season to start, as I'm sure you and the Wire boys can't either. I'm looking forward to your testimonial. It should be a belter. Once again, thanks for joining us. All the best, and I wish you well with your businesses as well, mate.
No problem, mate. Cheers, pal.
Thanks again to our podcast partner, Recovery, for sponsoring today's episode. Head over to recovery.com to check out their range of all natural products, and remember to use the code DROPGOAL in all capitals, no space, at checkout for 10% off your order.
Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like, yeah. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the.